Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is the second attempt at making this video because the last time I tried, I could not describe what I was experiencing. Uh, uh, I think it might include some of it like before this. I don't know. Uh, basically, drinking coffee again. By the way, basically having this weird experience of like seeing a guy's TikTok, how he made a video about playing an indie game that changed his life and like the passing emotions of every scene that like enlightened him and changed him, and like like the ascended experience he had from playing a game but not telling anybody anything about that game, what game it was, what it gave him, how he changed. Like it was like the commercialized product of what it is to play an indie game that changes you, and it was like icky. It was gross. It felt gross to me. I talked to my sister's boyfriend about this, and he was like, "Yeah, sounds a lot like peacocking. Sounds a lot like marketing himself on TikTok." And I'm like, "Bah, yeah." Anyway, I tried to explain myself for about 25 minutes, and it was really, really challenging. Wait 1 second. Yeah, okay. So I saw this TikTok, and I felt this feeling of like repulsion, uh, like it's almost like disgust. It was like a brand of disgust because I saw somebody twisting a medium that I really, really respect and value into like a commercialized attempt to get people to draw people into that experience. And it was like kind of, I don't know, maybe it was like the advertising aspect of it that really just sat sour with me. Like it just came off so disingenuous. I don't know. I just hated it. I needed to talk to people in my life that I love to pick apart those ideas, which is, sometimes that happens. But like, I literally needed to see someone else's perspective to understand if what I was feeling was normal. So that's a thing. I didn't see it like that before, but now I do. So yeah, weird experience. If I can find the TikTok, I'll put it up, but I don't think I can. It was just on my feed, and I just looked at it and was like, gross, and then I moved on. Yeah. Anyway, well, to parrot on that, I went to supper with my family the other day. My dad came to town, and everybody got together, and we had A&W, as you do in Canada when your parents visit. Yeah, we talked about some games, talked about game design. With my sister's boyfriend, we talked about like I don't know, like the PR for Helldivers 2. How it's like they literally have a game within their game. How they have a Discord channel, and it's like that is like the direct line of communication for their game, and they communicate with their player base as if they are people in that universe. So like it's kind of like a tabletop experience where you have somebody like modulating the game for you, but then you're also playing the game in your own time, and like they're connected thematically. So like you have this running narrative of like you being a soldier in this campaign, and then you also have the gameplay that you play with your friends, and so it's like you've got this dual experience of being involved in this world that is completely fabricated but feels very real because it's part of your real world. um, Side note, big theme of games right now, making the game feel way too real. Like with like VR experiences and like these um, you know dual like parallel experience, like meta games, Inscription or you know, the things that just like draw you deeper into the experience. Like the immersion is getting really, it's getting thick. It's getting really thick to get through immersion. Anyway, we also talked about that TikTok that bothered me, and yeah, his opinion was that it was like he's, you know, he's peacocking, which I thought was funny because like I think that I subscribe to a lot of like what do you call it, like evolutionary psychology, evolutionary biology, and that makes a lot of sense to me because like how many animals in the animal kingdom, even, you know, plants, even like any creature really, advertise themselves in a way to get something that they need. And so it was like, oh, well, maybe, you know, maybe this guy just like needed something, and then he just like made this TikTok like that. So yeah, I don't know. The feeling of repulsion, that's still kind of like it's stewing inside me because I don't totally get it yet. Like I said before, it could be that it was like he, you know, it's like he kind of like made a mockery of it because the whole experience itself is way more like, in my experience anyway. Obviously, we all have different subjective experiences, but in my experience, that's not something that you just like, I don't know, explain to people so loosely and so vaguely. Like that's more of like something that you share with people rather than just like make content about content. I think that's partially why I hate this. Because it was content that he was creating. He wasn't sharing an experience. He was creating content for his TikTok channel. Oh, and that's icky. I don't know about that because it's, you know, he had this. You take this beautiful experience and you reduce it into the most basest, widely understandable concept so that everybody in the world can see it, so that you can get a lot of attention and a lot of likes. And that's content. That's how content works. That's SEO. That's algorithms. That's For You pages. That's feeds. That's, you know what I mean? Like it's how, you know, how the capitalistic machine drives attention by showing you things that everybody else likes too. And then you only see things that everybody else likes, even if you don't like it. Am I old? Am I getting old right now? I can hear the voices of all the old programmers and game developers and writers and philosophers before me that were like, content is cancerous. Algorithms that feed us things that everybody likes are cancerous. And I'm like, I mean, I guess I'm just following in their footsteps. That's the impression that I got. Therefore, I'm going to be having ideas like that. Still makes me feel old though. Drinks coffee. Also got into the my brother pitched me that he was working on a. It's funny. He said he was working on a text. He was texting me some ideas that he had been percolating on for my game, and he was like, "This is getting really long. Maybe I should send an email instead." And then he started writing an email, and then he was like, "This is getting really long. Maybe I should just make a document." Send him a document. So I asked him to email it to me. Which, by the way, I forgot to give him my email address. I gotta remind myself that. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, he was talking a lot about the like the environment as a character and like creating plants, like how the environment itself can have a lot of plants that would like interact with each other and animals that would interact with each other, and like, you know, building really simple systems that could just like cause them to change their behavior. And, you know, the example he gave me was like these like pole plant or pitcher plants, and like how, you know, they're like sitting there, and then when enemies jump in them, they like close, and then like they produce something out of that. So it's like the enemies could predate on themselves, and so then you have like a world of creatures that are interacting regardless of your influence. And that reminded me of Rain World because that's basically the exact same thing. And I thought about that as a really fun way to like show the story of like what's going on and like where you are and what's happening. Because as it stands right now, you're just a guy exploring a big hole in the earth. Well, I don't even know if it's earth yet, but so yeah. Then we talked about also how like different environments could require different creatures, because like a simple example of this would be like in Spelunky, you get to the world 2 and then you've got blue frogs, and then a little bit later you've got red frogs, and they act exactly the same except when you jump on a red frog it explodes. Another small little environmental quirk is that when a red frog jumps in water, it turns into a blue frog. So then all of a sudden, as a player, when you have that knowledge, you can use that to manipulate frogs to make them less dangerous, right? So it becomes like this composite relationship in this like chain of creatures, where it's like you, water, frog. How do I manipulate myself in this scenario to make sure that frog turns to blue frog? Which is fun, because then it's like you get those little like moments where you pick apart the environment, you pick apart the pieces of your environment and how it's working, and you use it to your advantage. And I think that's, if we're going to talk about that previous video I had where I talked about video games being a space for people to like exhibit certain features, certain traits, certain things that they're not getting, or certain things that they want to do but they can't. Problem solving. I was just thinking, problem solving. This is probably a huge one for a lot of people, because I don't want to, not to like. I don't think that people these days have a lot of opportunities for problem solving in some lives. Because some people have a lot of things figured out for them. And in our society, we have a lot of things that are figured out for us already too, as long as you have the pay for it. So video games all of a sudden become a real like stimulation factor for people who have an itch to solve problems but don't have any problems to solve. And I kind of wonder how many people are like that personally. Just thinking about my own life, I got a lot of problems to solve, but maybe I'm defining it that way. Like maybe I already see the world as like a bunch of problems to solve. So there's that. Side note, could you imagine being somebody who feels like there are no problems to solve? Oh my god. I would take a nap. I would I would relax. I would just lay down. I would go to sleep. I would go to sleep and not dream about how to fix the problem. I would not conceive of problems to solve. Side note over. Yeah, so I think my brother's going to send me a game design doc, and that officially would make him a collaborator in this project. Which is kind of reminding me of something that happened recently. I saw this. I've been seeing a couple of TikToks, a couple of like Insta reels of people talking about how like success will come to you, but in the way that you're not looking for, or like it'll come to you and you're not expecting it the way it looks. And that seems so real to me, because sometimes you'll have like an opportunity come up to you and it'll be like something you've never expected, but it starts to make more sense the more you do it, the more time that you spend in that situation or with that person, or doing that thing. Answers they start to flow towards you differently. Like all of a sudden it's like you don't have everything figured out, you just have a direction to go in. And the only thing stopping you from this like slow and steady stream of ideas and successes and consequences is your willingness to accept them, or to accept that it's not what you thought it was. Like I think we get whipped up into this idea that we think we'll know exactly what something will be when it comes. That's not true. It's really not true. Things come to you in. There's a quote or something. It's like, I don't know, God comes in many disguises or something. I don't know if it was God. But anyway, the world is nothing that you think it is. Like, a lot of the time we're just going on preconceived notions and ideas that we've seen before. But like the thing is we haven't seen everything. Even if we're really good at predicting what's going to happen next, that doesn't mean that we know everything. So you have to just roll with it. Like, you have to roll with the ideas that are coming to you. And that means that you can have things that you've never even thought of before. You can have things that you've never conceived of. You can have things that are better than what you thought they were, as long as you're open to receiving them. The lesson for today is that you should never know what's coming to you. You should never feel like you understand everything that's happening to you. There's more joy in variety than there is in knowing. There's more joy in surprise than there is in understanding everything. Okay, so some opinions on a new game. If any of you guys have played Repo, I got some sick, nasty opinions on that game, and I think they're influenced by a couple of bad experiences, if I'm gonna be honest. So for anybody who doesn't really know, Repo is Lethal Company 2 with dynamic eye movements and mouths that move on their own when you talk. And actually, I got some opinions on this. So, Billy, flash the opinions, please. Thank you. Here's the thing. The gameplay loop is basically the exact same in Repo compared to Lethal Company. You're a bunch of guys, and you go to a place, and you have to get valuable stuff. And you need to bring that valuable stuff back to a spot where you can redeem it to get money. And you need to do that a certain number of times in this area before you can go to the next stage, which is usually a shop. And then from the shop, you go to the next level, and da-da-da. So, like, I don't even know where to begin. It's basically the exact same game. It is a reskin of the exact same game. It costs more, I believe. I'm gonna double check that. It might not cost more, but it might cost more, which already screams. I'm feeling that repulsion thing. I'm feeling that ick. I'm feeling that gross. Like, just repackage it. Just put on a different skin. Repackage it. Boom. $1 million done. I just like, I just want to have like my very own venture capitalist in my room so I can punch him in the face when I feel this. Same game, except I think you can revive between levels, or in levels. So if you bring your partner's head, because you're little robot guys, and they die, when they die, they turn into little heads. You bring his head to a thing, he gets redeemed with your money, and then he comes back to life. And it's like, boom, okay, so you get multiple tries. So it's Lethal Company, but easier. So I guess more accessible. You could make the argument that it's a more accessible game. But yeah, I don't really know what else is different about this game, because I've done the loop a number of times now. I've played it for a handful of hours with a couple of different people, and it seems like it's the same experience. I think we're running into a theme right now. I think the same experience, but not the same experience. I was playing with some friends. Okay, so hold on. There's one other thing. There's one thing I really do like about this game, and it's they have a text-to-speech engine. So when you type in the game, your guy will say in a robotic voice in the game the words that you're saying based on the, how Microsoft Sam would say it. And it's fun to play with because depending on where you look, it'll change the pitch. So if you look up, your guy will talk in a high-pitched voice. If you look down, your guy will talk in a down-pitched voice. Or if you crouch, he'll talk in like a whispering voice, and it sounds kind of scary.
Funny joke. Hey, 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 hey. Why didn't your skeleton go to his exit? Why? He didn't have any guts. Hey, 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 hey.
Just look at my. This is what you looked like. So terrifying. You're fucking. Stop. Just stop it. Oh my god, it's so fucking creepy.
God damn it.
I could do this fucking stupid robot nonsense every day, dude. This is ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
And I think that's really fun and interesting. That's like it's playful. It's really playful for a game because it doesn't really do anything for you. There's nothing extra there. It was kind of just like an extra flair that the developers put in. So, I was playing with some people, and I played with a couple of groups. I played with 3 distinct groups of people, all with very different reactions and skill levels and social skills and, you know, varying levels of play, varying levels of seriousness. And I've noticed a couple of things. One thing I noticed is that some people want to take the game very seriously, and I kind of hate that. I kind of hate when people want to take it seriously because it's not a serious game. This is not a game with big consequences. This is not a game with repercussions. You die, then you get respawned. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. I guess I didn't explain what you die to. So there's like creatures in the areas. So there's like ghosts and paranormal people and monsters and mutants, and like it's, you know, pretty standard horror game stuff, like nothing out of the ordinary. It's not like big, or, you know, there's like literally a Slenderman guy where you can't look at him. It's like they've just, you know, they've reused content basically. But yeah, a lot of people, despite this, take the game really seriously, and I don't understand why they're taking it so seriously, because it doesn't strike me as a serious game. The logo for this game is like a bastardized version of the laughing crying emoji, but he looks like he's in pain. And that to me looks like the other, like somebody remade this emoji into one that's like a bunch of emojis combined and they're laughing and crying, and it looks like it's in pain. Like it's literally that exact, it's that idea. I'll compare it. I don't get it. I really don't get it, because I'm playing that game, you know, people around me are, you know, collecting all the items and they're getting 100%, and they're like, don't break that thing, like, because, you know, if you hit something too hard it'll break. People are just taking it so fucking seriously, and I'm just sitting there like trying to make jokes. I'm like talking with people. I'm like trying to have a fun interaction, but they're really, really focused on like doing the best that they can. And I don't know if that's a me problem. I don't know if that's a them problem. Maybe that's who they've played with before. Maybe they influenced them that way. I just don't get it. Because I'm sitting there playing with the text to speech, and I'm saying things like, haha, let's get the PP upgrade. Like it's stupid. I'm saying the most ridiculous things because I want to have fun and play with this thing. But like, you know, there are people who are like getting angry because, you know, you're bringing something and it breaks, and they're like, ugh. Or like, you know, you're hiding from a monster, and then you like keep using the voice chat and they like tell you to shut up. And I'm like, I don't know. Here's my main point. I think that people have forgotten how to play. I think people are forgetting how to play. And that's kind of scary to me, because that's a big piece of how people are themselves. Like, I don't know. It feels like people will get people will receive an experience, like for instance like a video game or something, and like they'll see it as the collection of the tasks that they must do to participate in it, and not an opportunity to have fun with their friends. Like, people turn their free time into a to-do list, and then all of a sudden, once it's a to-do list, that means it's work, and once it's work, it means they need to do it well. And I just really don't know if I can subscribe to that when it's your leisure time, it's your free time. It's the time when you're allowed to do what you want to, and to have fun, and to be merry, and to do things that you're not allowed to do normally. And that feels like a perversion of, like, human nature. Like, it feels like people have been, I don't know, like, indoctrinated into turning their leisure time into work time. And I really don't, it's giving me the repulsion feeling again. I feel like rejected to that idea. And it's uncomfortable. I don't like that idea that people are willingly subjecting themselves to experiences where they could just open up and have a fun time. But instead they're choosing to make things very, very serious and to do things very, very specifically. And it's kind of feeling alienating, honestly, because I feel like I'm the only person trying to have fun, and everyone around me is trying to do work. Am I the grasshopper? I think I'm the grasshopper. Previous video talked about Bernard Suits' The Grasshopper. Fun read. The story of the ant and the grasshopper. If you guys have read it, it's an ancient story. Ancient story about grasshoppers and ants. How grasshoppers like to have fun all summer long, but they don't prepare for winter. And how the ants work all summer long to be prepared for winter. And how the grasshopper will ask for help. The grasshopper will ask for sustenance because he's wasted his time. Wasted, as a heavy term. It's a lot more nuanced than that, and there's also many, many, many versions of this story. Maybe I don't understand the story completely yet, but is everybody ants? Is everybody an ant? I'll come back to that because I think I need to read that. I think I need to read all of that book. And then also I think I need to read a couple of versions of that story because it feels like I've already made up my mind on what it is. And I don't necessarily know everything. So, yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. I basically just wanted to talk about experiences where you get to play, and how some people have these opportunities. Sometimes they seek them out, sometimes they're given to them, and you have this opportunity to have fun and do what you want to. And some people consciously or unconsciously reject that opportunity in favor of doing what they think they should do. I have more to say on this, but I first need to, yeah. I think I need to record a third take on this. I think I need to do a third take because I'm having more ideas are coming here. But I have so much more to say about play.